All right, so last night on this program, we had huge news with The Hill's John Solomon breaking the story that the Justice Department official Bruce Orr, under oath in congressional testimony, revealing to high-ranking DOJ FBI officials that Christopher Steele and his dossier was, in fact, connected and paid for by Clinton and very well would be politically biased. Our own Greg Jarrett now explores the major legal consequences of this in his new article entitled, out on FoxNews.com, Mueller's team knew dossier kicking off Trump investigation was biased and defective. Here to discuss the details, author of the #1 bestseller, Russia Hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton, frame Donald Trump, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, and the author of the bestseller License to Lie, Exposing Corruption in the Justice Department, former federal prosecutor Sidney Powell is back with us. All right, Greg, let's start with your column, and let's now take it. So in August of 2016, Bruce Orr warns everybody, all the people in the FBI, the upper echelon, and DOJ. Warns them, oh, Hillary paid for this, biased, and Christopher Steele hates Trump.
Right. So they knew it's paid for by Hillary Clinton. They knew that it's written by a guy who'd do anything to stop Donald Trump. They should have dropped it, therefore, in the trash can. They didn't. They thought it was gold. We don't care if it's phony or not. We'll use it as a pretext to frame Donald Trump.
Russian lies.
Right.
Paid for. Okay.
Right. So who does Bruce Orr tell? We've now confirmed, I've been able to confirm as well, much of his deposition testimony. He implicates two top officials at the Department of Justice who are now on the special counsel's team of partisans, and two others at the FBI who were on it who have since left. So now you've often asked me, why isn't Mueller investigating the FBI and the DOJ for Hillary Russian collusion? I think we now know the answer. 4 people on his own panel were implicated.
Including one Andrew Weissman, we talk about all the time.
Zainab Ahmad, Andrew Weissman, and, of course, the infamous Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, all 4 were on. Yeah, they all knew in the summer of 2016 that this thing was suspect.
So if he's supposedly looking at Russian interference, Hillary pays for Russian lies about her opponent that they are peddling.
Right.
Even we have our own intel community peddling to the American people.
Right.
So they do it to steal an election. Then they do it to get a FISA warrant. You know what everyone tells? Why aren't any of these people ever investigated? Where's the grand jury? When is somebody going to do their job?
Because you had the incompetent and feckless Jeff Sessions in charge, and Rod Rosenstein, who signed off on one of the FISA warrants improperly.
And he knew it was bought and paid for.
That's right. He's been obstructing,
not verified.
He's been obstructing ever since. So Sessions is gone. Rosenstein will soon be gone. William Barr will become the Attorney General. And I'm fairly confident he will investigate.
If he doesn't, then we're a banana republic. Sidney, let me go to you. You know a lot about Andrew Weissman because you wrote about him. He's Mueller's pit bull. Now he knew about this, and they're looking into Russia collusion, and they never touched this?
Sean, I'm sure Mr. Weissman was very involved in it. He might have even helped draft the FISA applications. He would have known about it from the first conversation he had with Christopher Steele. I mean, this kind of fabrication is right up Mr. Weissman's alley, as you know from reading License to Lie yourself. He's very good at making up crimes and making up the factual narrative he wants to suit whatever crime he wants to charge. That's his standard operating procedure, while
Sidney,
he hides the evidence that shows people are innocent.
Because remember, Bruce Orr, after Steele's fired for lying and leaking by the FBI, they still wanted more contact with him. His contact was Bruce Orr. And they're writing about, we have Christopher Steele, who built this lying, phony dossier that's debunked, now giving information to Bruce Orr to funnel to the special counsel Robert Mueller himself. We have that evidence.
Oh, yes. Yes. And I think it goes back farther than that, Sean. I think it goes back to 2015 when Comey gave illegal access to the raw NSA data to 3 private contractors. I would bet that one of those is Fusion GPS, and that they were mining that data to create this phony dossier with Christopher Steele in the first place.
So for
and then
2 years,
recycled it through him.
2 years it's been Trump-Russia. And they knew from the get-go that Hillary paid for Russian lies that were disseminated to the American people, and then they use those lies that they knew were lies, never verified it. If they would have done their job, they sign off at it as gospel truth to get a warrant, shred the Constitution, shred the Fourth Amendment to spy on a Trump campaign associate. And they're the people in charge of looking into Russian collusion?
Exactly. They lied to the FISA court. And Mr. Rosenstein signed the applications. Mr. Comey signed the applications. There are others who signed those applications as well, whose names have been redacted. We need to know who those people are. The investigation that Mr. Mueller started should have been of those people and never of the Trump campaign at all. It's egregious government misconduct. The Mueller witch hunt should be ended immediately, and the entire team should be disbanded. And they're the ones that should be investigated. I don't know, Sean. I mean, I'm still concerned about Mr. Barr's personal relationship with Mr. Mueller.
So am I. You're not.
No. Look, the bottom line here is there was no Trump collusion, but there was Hillary, FBI, Department of Justice collusion, and 4 people on Mueller's special counsel team involved.
And also we know that they literally lied to a FISA court and committed fraud. All right.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, the 2020 presidential race is effectively underway and has been since the midterms in November. The most formidable candidates have not officially announced yet. They want to be fashionably late to the party, but it's obvious who they are. Their shadow campaigns are busy lining up donors, ginning up publicity, and trying in general to seem impressive. The most vigorous contender in this group is Robert Beto O'Rourke of Texas. O'Rourke nearly beat Ted Cruz in a Senate race this fall, you'll remember. Democrats love him for that. Affluent progressives on the coast love him best. He's one of them. In the betting markets, O'Rourke is now the favorite to win the Democratic nomination. 2 years from now, he plausibly could be sitting in the Oval Office. So it's worth taking Beto O'Rourke seriously. What kind of president would he be? Well, at this point, we can only guess. We do know that, like most people in his social class, he is totally against border walls.
We'll fight when necessary against a president who's focused on building walls.
No wall is going to solve legitimate security concerns.
Then perhaps you can be forgiven for thinking that a wall is going to solve a problem.
We in El Paso are ashamed of this now, but this is going to be one of those moments where the folks in Germany look back on the Berlin Wall, or the United States looks back on its project to intern Japanese Americans during World War II.
Did you hear that? So Berlin Wall bad, border wall also bad. Indeed, bad, very much like interning the Japanese during World War II was bad. It was another racist attack on Asians from the FDR administration or something like that. Whatever. Walls are bad, okay? So far, that's been about the sum total of what we know about Beto O'Rourke's policy views. That, and he also went to the dentist recently. We know because he put it on Instagram. But thankfully, now we know even more. O'Rourke just did a 2-hour-long interview with a reporter from Jeff Bezos' Washington newspaper, the Washington Post, which, like O'Rourke himself, is a full-time mouthpiece for guilty rich people. O'Rourke knew he was speaking to his own community, so he relaxed long enough to explain what he really thinks about things, including border walls. Walls are bad, O'Rourke explained, not just because they intern perfectly decent Japanese people, but because they literally commit murder, or rather, we commit murder when we build walls. As O'Rourke put it, if you construct a barrier along our southern border, quote, you will ensure death. You and I, as Americans, have caused the deaths of others through these walls, end quote. Let that settle. Whoa. We killed people, and we didn't even know it. That's pretty heavy. How many people did we kill? Should we turn ourselves into the authorities or prepare for life on the lam? Do we need new passports, cosmetic surgery? Does Paraguay have an extradition treaty? So many questions. The real question, though, is what the hell is Beto O'Rourke talking about? To be fair, it's not like he's pretending to know. O'Rourke makes it perfectly clear that he has no idea what he's saying, and that's okay. He's not embarrassed about it. When the Washington Post asked O'Rourke what he would do about illegal aliens overstaying their visas, which is a huge part of our immigration crisis, he answered this way, quote, I don't know. Thank you, Mr. Spicoli. Please take your seat. Beto's not into details. Beto's into ideas. big ideas, ideas of the future, sweeping panoramic truths about being and personhood and new modes of authentic expression, the kind of stuff that would spill your bong water and blow your mind. Beto's not a micro guy, he's bigger than that. He's a transformer. And what Beto wants to transform next, after failing to transform Texas, is nothing less than the United States of America, starting with the beliefs this country was founded on. That's what he told Jeff Bezos' newspaper. Does this still work, he asked, this being America. And Beto isn't so sure. And so he asked the question that future historians will recognize as a pivot point in the life of this country. Can America, quote, still be managed by the same principles that were set down 230-plus years ago? And that's not a small question. The principles Beto refers to would include the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion and assembly, the right to self-defense and a fair trial. Does any of that still matter? Or are those all just old ideas, stumbling blocks that are preventing people like Beto, good and brilliant people who went to Columbia and have beautiful weekend homes, from getting the power they need to turn this place into a truly awesome country? A country where skateboards outnumber SUVs and everyone is thin and has quality childcare. A nation that values hot yoga above football. A place where insensitive thoughts are banned and punished appropriately. Beto doesn't know the answer to those questions right now, but he's thinking about it.